Hello, let's do Wordle for Tuesday, November 18th. Yesterday we spun the wheel and it picked wheel. All right, seems apt. So there's a single E. We learned that there is exactly one E because this other E is gray. So I'm going to stick it at the end. The E's love to be at the end of words. Rouse gets a lot of good. Raise gets even better letters. Let's do raise. R-A-I-S-E. A lot of good letters there. We'll move on from there. All right, so it's one of these I-E words. There's a lot of consonants that can go there. Let's just pick out the common consonants that are still there. T and N are great ones to get. Can't do twine, can't do thine. I don't know what else there would be for T, something I-N-E. So not that. What about like an I-T-E word? There's also like the second tier letters like C and P. Like an IPE or something. Without an R or an L, it's actually really hard to do this. And without the A. What's like a double consonant I could put first? That should be something I focus on here. Because there's no H, there's no R, there's no L. So I wonder if we start with a vowel. Like ovine. I'm going to do opine, which means to think. I'm going to do that first. Because P is much better letter than V. Oh my gosh. Also, it's the answer. Good reason to go for it. It's the answer. All right, I almost went ovine. But I was like, P's more common. Okay. Well, I think I just got very lucky there. Let's find out how lucky. But first, stick around for the analysis at the end. The video doesn't end with the solve. Very much so. We do a lot of analysis, which is fun. But let's spin the wheel and see what we're going to start with tomorrow. All right. Looks like it's going to be grasp, stressed by pedals. Was it grasp that was the answer just the other day? Or was it... Oh, I can't remember. No, we had clamp. Did we have grasp? Or did we start with grasp recently? Either way, we're starting with grasp. I think we started with grasp recently. We're going to start with grasp tomorrow. So I've written that down. And let's do some analysis. See how we did today. See how other people did today. All that good stuff. Look at how we can solve better. So the answer was opine. It means to think about things. You opine about it, right? Let me just make sure I'm right about that, because that could be embarrassing if I don't know what it actually means. Hold and state as one's opinion. Yeah. The man is a genius, he opined. I didn't know it had that specific meaning, but... So it means more to state your opinion than to think about something. You know, I've read it plenty of times, but interpreting it as that kind of works, and so I never got corrected. Anyway, we started with wheel. Whoa, prize with an S. Who knew? I went with raise. It's concerned about some kind of trap. Didn't even realize. All right, so I went with raise. Raise would have lost on grave, Mary, judge, crone, prime, and trike. Yikes. But it wasn't any of those, so we don't lose. We had 9 answers left. Guide, juice, knife, opine, ovine, oxide, quite, unite, and voice. Opine is tied for second place with a whole lot of words. It says unite was the best one to go for. That is very good letters. If I'd thought of it, I might have gone for it. But I just got in 3. All right. So it would have gone prize. P-R-I-S-E. Why is that even a word? I should do spire instead. But we'll do both. Let's do prize. I would never have known to think about that, but it does get opine right away. Does spire also gets opine right away? In fact, spire's closer. Okay. Opine, definitely one of one of those words I've only ever read, so I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I think I am. And then I gleaned the meaning from context, and I gleaned it wrong, apparently. A little bit wrong. All right, starting with tails. With just the E, it goes drone. And then from there, it's only opine or ovine, so it's 50-50. From steel, does it do the same thing? No, it goes dane from steel. And then from there, it goes brine, or it could go opine. It could get it in 3, but if it doesn't, it could get it in 4, but if it doesn't, it gets in 5. All right. Anyway, there's a lot of optionalities there, but it looks like it's a 3, 4, or 5, probably. Adieu. We get the I and the E. We're going to go price because we actually have that C available. Interesting. Yeah, that P, it does tend to like the P. From here, we're going to get opine, or we're going to like snipe opine, or we're going to spine opine. One of those. So 3 or 4. Audio. It just goes opine. It just happens to be the best follow-up from the IO with audio. That's great. It's not even tied for anything. Like if we went point, we're getting it in 3 though. All right. Trace tries to get in 2. Apparently audio did today. Slope is not getting it in 2, but it gets in 3. And then finally, place is what the hard mode bot starts with. We follow up with trope. And from there, it's only opine. All right. Well, let's check with the official bot and see how people did today. 96 skill, 64 luck, a little under average. It said opine was the right choice, but not the best choice. It liked unite much better. Opine is second place. All right. How many people started with wheel today? 6 other readers started with wheel. Yeah. Interesting. And it's like a bunch of different follow-ups. Great, mince, tears, and innate. Not innate, innate. Teary and spine. Interesting. If you started with wheel, you knew there weren't 2 E's, so innate is a mistake. But anyway, probably meant to type innate with the I. That would make a lot more sense. Might be a typo. The I and the E are nowhere near each other, but who knows? All right, it goes place trope opine, which is exactly what we saw here. 0.2% of people starting with wheel. That's interesting. And then we only have 18,000 hard mode Wordles in. How is that possible at this time? All right. We don't know how many people got it in 1 yet. How many people are losing? Ooh, wow, that is a... Are people like sitting there not finishing because they can't think of it? Like, how do we only have 18,000 hard mode Wordles in yet? Or is there like a network issue where it's not recording a lot of solves? But anyway, we have a lot of losses. We have a 11.2% failure rate, which is very high. Ovine and oxine are what people are losing on. I think they just don't know the word opine, which I don't blame them. I didn't really realize what it meant exactly. People losing on twine even. Like, look at these. Like, we go all the way down to here before we get less than 0.1%. Exine. So you should have started with wheel so you knew there weren't 2 E's. Coine is... This is people like trying whatever they possibly can because they can't think of what it is. Imine, wine, twine, cline, knife. All right. I'm actually going to go and analyze... I'm going to see if we have non-hard mode stats. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to screenshot my solve, which I have to go back to get there. So I'm going to admire my puzzle, and if I screenshot my solve, then I can save it. Open up some MS Paint goodness and save it somewhere. And then we will analyze it from the screenshot, which lets us pick non-hard mode to get those stats. Where did it go? Here it is. All right. Don't analyze with hard mode. See, my skill score went down. That's why I like to analyze with hard mode. What was it going to say here? So after wheel. So how many people started with wheel in non-hard mode? 4 people? Interesting. Okay. Poise, bends, magic, essay. I think people are less willing to start with the wheel words when it's a bad start. But that's the whole point. Anyway, it liked to train best from here. It says do a filler, do train, do drain, do roast. Yeah. Guess 2, it loves fillers in non-hard mode. It goes slate, groin, opine, so still in 3. Right, what's our loss rate here? We have 157,000 Wordles in. Wow, even more people are losing in non-hard mode. I feel like people who play hard mode are just generally, like, if you even know about the hard mode option, you're more experienced at the game. And so it tends to be that the hard mode solve rate is higher because this is a 20.1% failure rate, which is much, much higher failure rate than 11.2. People are losing on the same exact words: ovine, oxine, quine, exine. We're gonna have a lot of complaints about today. All right, cool. Well, I'm glad I went back and did that. It's kind, as you can see, it's kind of a pain, but it's nice to be able to see both the stats for both modes. Only 18,000 games in for hard mode right now. I wonder if some people are like turning off hard mode because it's a hard word. I don't know. Anyway, how'd you do? And that is it for Wordle. But if you would like to watch the New York Times games, you can click at the end of the video. It'll take you right there. I also have a pinned comment with all of the videos I made today. And if you enjoyed this, why don't leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.